that all down, let's get things started off here with today's show, shall we? We're going to start off with this. You know, listen, I am for 6 years now, 7 years, I've been saying Kathleen Kennedy should leave as the head of Lucasfilm. Again, to me, the two biggest jobs of the head of the studio is to have a plan for what you're doing, which she has exhibited she does not have, and your ability to constantly be on the same page with your creatives, which, you know, with the 45 various projects that have come and gone and fallen apart and all that kind of stuff, proves she has not done that. Now, I'm no Kathleen Kennedy hater. I think she belongs as a first ballot Hollywood Hall of Famer. Steven Spielberg calls her the greatest producer of all time. But hey, even the best of people aren't necessarily great for every job, and I don't think this has been the right job for her. But I've always also contended that when we give her much deserved blame for failures that happen on her watch, we should also not hesitate to give credit when credit is due. And let's be honest, whatever state Star Wars is in, it has had a number of wins along the way, and she deserves some credit for that. One of the people who has decided to really double down on that is Andor creator Tony Gilroy. Now, of course, Gilroy has just given us the best thing, anything with the Star Wars name on it since the original trilogy. Andor is simply the best Star Wars that Star Wars can be. It's phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. And Tony Gilroy says it's because of Kathleen Kennedy. Now, this is what he said in a Vanity Fair interview discussing the success of Andor and Kathleen Kennedy in it. He says this: Andor creator Tony Gilroy stands up for Kathleen Kennedy, saying, "She has protected the show and protected me. When we started challenging Kathy just kept saying yes. Oh, I'm going to put the first scene in a brothel. Okay. I'm going to have them kill 2 cops. Okay. We want the production designer from Chernobyl. Okay, good idea." She backed our play and got everything that we were doing. We've been through everything, she and I, on this. All the good and all the bad. There is no show without her. For all the shit that she takes online, it's just insane. This show exists because she forced it to happen. What a tough job she has, man. All right, look. I am absolutely not going to sit here and say this justifies Kathleen Kennedy still having the job. I'm not. But again, I always think when I do a movie review of a movie that I really liked, I'll usually start off by talking about the negatives first. And when I review a movie I really hate, I'll try to start off by talking about whatever good things were in there. I think it is important that to have valid criticism of something, you have to be real. And the reality is, Kathleen Kennedy has done some good at Star Wars. Do I think her handling of the property has been more negative than positive? Yes, but that doesn't mean we ignore the positive. And listen, if we're, including myself, are going to give her a lot of crap for a lot of the fiasco and circus things that have happened at Star Wars, then we also have to be real enough to say, tip of the cap, good job. Because according to Tony Gilroy, I mean, he just straight up says, there's no show without Kathleen Kennedy. She's had my back. She forced this show Andor into being. And she was with me every step of the way, and she made it. And again, this does not change my mind that she should not necessarily be the head of Lucasfilm. But credit what?
I don't know how that just bumped, but that just bumped.
No,
that's a Freudian slip.
I didn't even touch the button.
Give credit.
That's what she said.
Where credit is due. And according, again, to Tony Gilroy, a lot of credit for what many of us are calling the greatest thing Star Wars has ever done since the original trilogy. Gilroy says a lot of the credit goes to her. So you know what? I still think she should be shown the door. But on her way out, I'm going to thank her for a couple of things. Thank you for The Mandalorian. Thank you for, I remember, because John Favreau told the story on stage at D23. He said John Favreau brought the idea of Mandalorian to Kathleen Kennedy. She had a stack of 100 other pitches, and she saw what he wanted to do with it. And as he was going out the door, it was Kathleen Kennedy. John Favreau tells the story. It was Kathleen Kennedy that said, whoa, wait a minute. I want you to partner with Dave Filoni on this. I think this is something Dave Filoni would work really well on, and I think you two would work really well together. So as she's being shown the door, I'm going to thank her for Mandalorian. I'm going to thank her for The Force Awakens. I still don't care what anybody says. I think that movie's great. I'm going to thank her for Rogue One. I'm going to thank her for Rebels. If Rebels was under her. Sure. But I'm absolutely going to thank her for Andor. I'll still hold the door for her as her on her way out, but I'm going to thank her for those things. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. What a great time to be a sports fan. Basketball playoffs are on. Hockey playoffs are on. It is the perfect time to jump into the action with PrizePicks, the easiest and most fun way to turn your sports knowledge into real winnings. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made really simple. Just pick more or less on a few player projections, like points, assists, goals, and you can win up to 2,000 times your money. For example, this week, I've got Jalen Brunson for more than 24.5 points, or Jason Tatum for more than 6.5 rebounds. I love how fast and easy it is to lock in a lineup in just under a minute. Plus, they've got a couple of weekly features, like, for example, Flex Friday. If your lineup doesn't win, you get your net losses back in promo funds. And every Tuesday, check out Taco Tuesday for discounted player projections up to 25% off. So download the app today and use the code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. Anyway, Rob, credit where credit's due. You and I loved Andor. We adored it. And according to Tony Gilroy, other than maybe himself, the most credit belongs to Kathleen Kennedy. Anyway, how do you interpret his phrasing here?
Well, I think I totally believe him, but I think Tony Gilroy is the perfect creator that Kathleen Kennedy works best with, in that he's a consummate filmmaker, consummate writer, director, producer. He's like you say, what do you call it? #1 Hall of Famer. You know, he's the kind of guy that Kathleen Kennedy needs, that she doesn't have to micromanage. She understands, okay, you're the creator, you're the visionary. What do you need? You know, because a great producer provides, and if you look at all the people she's worked with, whether it's Martin Scorsese or Steven Spielberg, the thing that I've always been bothered by online when people criticize her, because I've been a staunch supporter of hers, and I said, look, a great producer facilitates the production of a movie. If you have an actual working producer, they not only cultivate the material, but they find, if you're working with someone like a Spielberg, you don't have to worry about the creative. He's going to take care of that. What you need to do is provide everything he needs to facilitate the vision you want him to facilitate.
Exactly.
And so Tony Gilroy says, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Kathleen, that's music to Kathleen Kennedy's ears, because there's no, I don't know. I know. Tony Gilroy knows. You want the production designer in Chernobyl? Great. I'll get him for you.
Yeah.
That's what
and a good producer can get them for you.
Yeah, and for her, she knows that this guy does not need me to hold his hand. I don't need to check in with them. I mean, I'll check in with them. I'll look at the dailies or whatever. But that is she's used to working with people at that level. And, you know, also I would say, while it didn't like change the world, I think Skeleton Crew is worth
It was delightful.
Celebrating.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Skeleton Crew's another one I should have had on my list. It's not Andor, but I really enjoyed
it's a
Skeleton
totally
Crew.
different thing with a different audience, but I think it was successful in it. They set out to do something and they succeeded in doing what they set out to do. And I would say that is another look. Andor blew me away. The last 6 episodes of Andor are peak TV. It's some of the best science fiction television, not just Star Wars, but just TV in general. And I think it's great. It's just too bad that we didn't have filmmakers like a Tony Gilroy who wanted to do a Star Wars movie that came in with that kind of vision. And, you know, another thing, that he came in and helped out on Rogue One and facilitated that, and that movie made over $1 billion. And
some people will whisper that he saved Rogue One.
Yeah,
I don't know. That might be an exaggeration, but yeah, he had a lot to do with Rogue One.
Yeah, and he had a lot to do with Rogue One, so she already knew. And you know, he wrote and directed movies like Mike. I love Michael Clayton.
Oh, it's so good.
I love
so
that
good.
movie. And you look at that guy, and he did a Bourne film. I mean, he's done stuff that he's elevated material that could have gone elsewhere. But what I love is that guy has no S to give. And when he goes online or when he makes that comment about Kathleen Kennedy, he knew what he was doing. He was defending somebody that really helped him make what he wanted to make the way he wanted to make it. And in his eyes, he worked directly with her and he knows what's up. So he had no reason. I don't think that guy ever cares what anybody else has to say. He tells it straight.
Yeah.
I've loved, one of the great things is watching him on this press tour for this show. I love listening to him speak because he is on top of his game.
You know what he also kind of reemphasized this whole thing?
And by the way, his two brothers worked on the show too.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things that this jumps out to me in this is that when Kathleen Kennedy has her high points, it's when she's functioning as a producer.
Yeah.
And it's her low points always seem to come in her role as studio head. You know, again, the two main problems I constantly point out: no overall plan for the general direction of the universe, and her inability to get on the same page with her filmmakers or hire filmmakers who have the ability to get on the same page with her. Those are the two most important jobs as a studio head. She's constantly fumbled the ball on that. But when it just comes to her work as a producer, that's when she tends to have her time to shine. And listen, I'll tell you what, I said she should have been gone 6 years ago. But if the only good thing were to come out of her 6 additional years of her at the helm is Andor, I'll say worth it. I'll say the hot garbage dumpster fire that was The Rise of Skywalker. If I had to go through that so I could get Andor, I might say it's worth it. Because Andor is pretty damn good. And if Tony Gilroy says he couldn't have done without her, I'll take his word for it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Tony Gilroy's coming straight up and saying there's no Andor without Kathleen Kennedy. She forced this show to happen. Are you willing? Like, if you're somebody like me who has been saying for a long time she needs to go, are you also, though, willing to give credit where it's due and say, hey, kudos, give the flowers to Kathleen Kennedy on this? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.